Chosen one. November 5th is not just another day on the calendar. It is a holy checkpoint in time, a divine intersection between what was spoken in secret and what will now be revealed in public. This is a moment God carved out long before you were even aware you would need it. It's not a random date. He picked it, timed it, and aligned it to launch something no one around you will see coming. You've been hidden, underestimated, silenced, and overlooked. But that season is over. There is a holy unveiling in motion now, and when they see you after this, they will be utterly shocked. Not because you wanted to be seen, but because God has decided that the world must now witness what He's been shaping in you behind closed doors. Watch this video until the end, and feel the truth resonate with your core. And in the comments below, write your warmest wishes and write Amen to affirm the release of divine energy in your life. You have every right to believe that what you feel right now is real. That silent knowing inside you that something powerful is arriving is not just your imagination. It's your spirit picking up a frequency that was always meant for you. And that wish you've been holding, it has not been ignored. It has been energizing the very universe that now races toward your deliverance. Now, chosen one, press the hype button and like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. This season isn't about them anymore. It's not about proving anything to the ones who doubted you, or explaining yourself to those who couldn't see your worth. No, this moment is purely about divine alignment. It's about the fire God has placed in you, rising so high, so bright, that no one can deny it anymore. When they look at you on November 5th or any day that follows, they won't just see your outer form. They'll feel the shift. They'll sense the divine weight on your presence. They'll know that something happened, something sacred, something cosmic, something completely unexplainable to human logic. And they'll be stunned, not because you forced it, but because your time has come. There were days you questioned if any of this would be worth it. Days when silence was the only answer you got back from heaven. When doors kept closing and you kept praying. When the pain lingered longer than the promise. When your progress looked invisible. And yet, somehow, you still showed up. You still walked. You still waited. You still trusted. That trust, don't you dare underestimate its power. That trust is what qualified you. That trust is what made the heavens turn their attention toward you with divine intensity. That trust is what whispered your name into the atmosphere on nights you couldn't sleep, while God was orchestrating moves you couldn't see. And now it's that trust that is about to become your stage. You didn't choose this spotlight. You didn't beg for attention. You didn't manipulate your way into elevation. God did this. God chose this moment. And He is the one who will bring the proof, not through your words, but through your undeniable transformation. This next version of you will speak louder than any argument you could make. You won't have to say a thing. The glow will speak. The energy will announce itself. The favor will enter rooms before you do. People will sense the difference and won't know how to describe it. But you'll know. You'll know it was divine. You'll know it came from obedience, from isolation, from refinement. They'll be shocked because they never expected you to rise like this. And oh, how much was buried in silence. How much pain was stored behind the smile. How many sacrifices were made without applause. You let people misjudge you while you quietly submitted to God's timing. You let them walk away. You let them doubt. You let them laugh, thinking they had the final word. But God kept you hidden for a reason. You weren't being ignored, you were being refined. Because this rise couldn't be rushed. It had to be sacred. It had to be real. And now it has to be seen. Not for their applause, but for God's glory. Because when they see what He's done in your life, when they see what you've become without them, they'll have no choice but to say, "This is the Lord's doing." So prepare yourself, not for struggle, but for visibility. You won't have to chase it, it's coming to you. You won't have to convince anyone, they'll see it for themselves. You're walking into an environment that was already shifted to receive you. The shock they feel won't just be from your outer change, it will be the unmistakable inner power you now carry. Something about you will radiate authority, a quiet boldness, a holy confidence. It's not pride, it's not ego, it's clarity. You've been made clear in the fire. You've been made still in the storm. And now, that clarity is your crown. You walk with a presence that cannot be ignored. You'll notice how people hesitate before they speak to you now, how they fumble their words, how they seem surprised to be in your presence. It's not personal, it's prophetic. They're responding to what their spirit feels, and their spirit knows what their minds can't articulate. God is with you, not lightly, not vaguely, but heavily. They'll feel that weight. They'll see that light. And they'll be shocked that someone they once overlooked could carry something so rare, so fierce, so divine. But God always chooses the unexpected. He always lifts what the world rejects. And you, chosen one, have been lifted. Stay grounded. Stay centered. But most of all, stay aware. This next stage of your life will not require effort to prove who you are. You've already been authenticated in the Spirit. You've already been validated by the divine. You've already been summoned into purpose. And now, all that's left is for the world to catch up to what heaven already knows. This moment isn't coming, it has come. This unveiling is not a forecast, it's a fulfillment. So breathe, get ready, walk in the room like you belong, because you do. And when you do, the silence will be louder than words. The reactions will be louder than applause. The awe will be louder than questions. They'll look, they'll whisper, they'll wonder, but deep down, they'll know something happened, and that something was God. It's hard to describe what's about to happen without sounding like a prophecy wrapped in mystery, but what's coming isn't mystery. It's manifestation. God didn't shape you in silence for nothing. He didn't keep you in the shadows just to delay you. He was building brilliance. He was layering power. He was depositing dimensions into your identity that you weren't even aware of. You weren't standing still. You were being sculpted. Every scar that made you question yourself was a stroke of divine design. Every delay that made you doubt your path was actually divine insulation. God was preserving something rare, and you were it. So when they see you now, when they stand in front of you after November 5th, they will feel the fire. But they won't understand where it came from. They'll assume it happened overnight. They'll believe the transformation was sudden. But what they didn't see was the soul wrestling. The nights you wept with no words. The moments when your prayers weren't pretty. They were desperate. The times you questioned if God was still with you, only to wake up with renewed strength that didn't come from your own will. This transformation didn't just happen. It was paid for. With faith. with surrender, with private obedience. And now, the evidence will no longer be invisible. You've been called out of hiding. You've been summoned into glory. You've been instructed to show up, not with explanations, but with essence. You're not here to prove who you are. That's already been decided in the spirit realm. The proof will walk beside you. It will cling to your atmosphere. People will start speaking differently around you without realizing why. They'll treat you like royalty without knowing what changed. It's not arrogance they're sensing. It's alignment. Divine timing has met divine placement. And when those two collide in your life, no one can ignore you, even if they try. They may not be able to define what they're feeling, but they'll know. Something is different now. Something has arrived. And that something is you, fully activated, finally released. God did not bring you through all of that just for peace. He brought you through it for power. The level of spiritual weight you carry now could not be placed on a previous version of you. That's why the pruning had to happen. That's why the heartbreak had to happen. That's why the confusion, the delays, the disappointments, they weren't punishment. They were pressure. Pressure that prepared you for the level of energy that's about to burst from your life. You are not coming out the same. You are not walking back into their view with the same aura. You are entering this moment fully formed, and the transformation will be undeniable. They'll double-take, they'll stare, they'll stutter, but none of that will move you. You'll be so rooted in who God says you are that their shock won't distract you. It'll confirm you. Their silence will be louder than their words. Their awe will say what their mouths cannot. And as you stand in that moment, you'll realize that this was never about them. It was about God showcasing what He can do with someone who refuses to quit, with someone who holds on even when nothing makes sense, with someone who listens to a whisper from heaven when the noise from earth is screaming doubt. You're not just walking into a room anymore. You're entering environments as a vessel. You're carrying revelation. You're carrying evidence. You're carrying wealth that isn't always measured in money, but in presence, in influence, in legacy. When you speak now, it will carry a weight. When you smile, it will light up more than just faces. It will shift frequencies. You've become a walking miracle. And when miracles walk into the room, even the skeptics go quiet. Even the mockers sit down. Even the proud ones feel the trembling under their feet. Because no one can argue with results birthed by God. And you won't have to shout it. The results will shout for you. You won't have to announce anything. God has already done the announcing in the spirit realm. Now it's just time for the world to catch up. They thought they knew your story, but they only read the early chapters. They thought the plot was finished, but God was still writing. They thought your ending was written in rejection, but it was actually being composed in resurrection. And this next chapter? It's beyond anything they've seen before. Because now, the story shifts. Now the chosen one is seen. Don't be surprised when people from the past come back and say, "I always knew you had it in you." They didn't. They saw your potential, but they didn't honor it. They sensed your difference, but they couldn't handle it. Now that the difference has matured into destiny, they're drawn to the glow, but unprepared for the glory. And you must not shrink for their comfort. You must not diminish yourself to make others feel safe. You were not called to be understood. You were called to be undeniable. You were not born for their approval. You were born for impact. And that impact is now erupting. So walk in silence if you must. Let your transformation speak in ways your voice never could. There's a vibration coming off you now, a frequency that only those spiritually tuned can catch. And those who feel it? They'll be moved. They'll be stunned. And even if they never say a word, they will never forget the moment they looked into your eyes and saw God's hand all over your life. Chosen one, everything about your journey has been sacred, even the parts that seemed like setbacks. What looked like loss was actually divine leverage. What felt like betrayal was positioning. What appeared to be abandonment was actually the clearing of your path. Now, on the other side of all that pain is the most powerful part of your life about to unfold. And when those who once doubted you see what has emerged from that pain, they'll be speechless, because no one expects glory to come from ashes. No one expects the one they counted out to become the one who carries the crown. But God specializes in the unexpected. You weren't created to blend in. That's why you've always felt a little different, a little out of place. You weren't wired for average, and the people around you sensed it, even when they couldn't name it. It made some people uncomfortable. It made others jealous. But what they didn't realize is that the difference they were trying to ignore was God's fingerprint on your life. That divine signature is now being revealed for all to see. And the shock that hits them on November 5th won't just be from your transformation. It will be the realization that they missed their chance to truly know you when you were still growing quietly among them. They mistook your humility for weakness. They confused your silence for lack of vision. But you weren't weak. You were wise. You weren't aimless. You were aligned. You moved with caution because you were listening for the voice of God. And now that you've heard it, now that the call has been activated, you are stepping into the spotlight with a spiritual force they've never encountered before. It won't be loud. It won't be forced. It will be holy. And that's why it will shake everything. People will feel your presence before you even speak. Rooms will shift when you enter, not because of fame or applause, but because heaven is backing every move you make. You carry too much light now to be hidden. You carry too much clarity to be confused. The old you was reactive, but this version is aware. The old you needed answers, but this version walks in knowing. You're not searching for validation anymore. You've been validated by the one who created you. And when validation comes from God, no rejection on earth can undo it. That's what's different now. You're not shaken by opinions. You're anchored by truth. And the truth is, you are chosen. And it shows. You'll notice it in the way people respond to your energy. Some will be drawn to you with wide eyes and open hearts. Others will back away, unable to handle the light. And both reactions are fine. Both responses are confirmation. Some people were only meant to know you in your hidden season, not your revealed one. Their role is complete. Don't mourn what God removed, honor what He's making room for. Because after November 5th, new doors will open without effort. Divine connections will appear without explanation. And all of it will feel like it's happening too fast. But you'll realize it's not fast. It's finally. All this time, you've been moving through delay after delay, thinking something was wrong with you. But the truth is, God was synchronizing your moment. He wasn't late. He was perfecting the arrival. And now, as you rise, everything starts to respond. Resources begin to flow. Opportunities seem to find you. And people, some of whom you've never met, start treating you with the reverence they didn't even give you before. It's not a coincidence. It's not luck. It's alignment. They're not responding to you. They're responding to what's on you, and that on you is favor. Favor you didn't beg for. Favor you didn't buy. Favor you didn't hustle to earn. Favor that came from obedience, from sacrifice, from staying silent when you could have clapped back, from staying planted when you wanted to run, from praying instead of reacting. That favor now rests on you like a mantle, and mantles shift atmospheres. They change conversations. They shake structures. That's what people are about to witness, and they'll be shocked, not just by the change, but by how calm you are inside of it. You're not desperate anymore. You're not scattered. You're not worried. You're anchored. And that calm you carry now, it's not from meditation. It's from knowing. You know who you are. You know where you're going. You know what was promised. And because you no longer need to convince anyone. You're not showing up to be seen. You're showing up to be. Let that sink in. You are now being what you were always becoming. The shift has happened. The clock has struck. The divine has decided. And you, chosen one, are walking into the greatest chapter of your existence. Not because you finally figured it out, but because you finally let go of the need to figure it out and trusted the timing of the one who wrote the story from the beginning. And now, it's all unfolding in public. They have no idea what kind of spiritual force is about to walk into the spaces they once thought were too good for you. The same people who turned away in your season of silence will soon turn around with questions in their eyes and awe in their spirit, because the presence you carry now cannot be ignored. What was once subtle is now striking. What was once hidden is now undeniable. And the shift didn't come from ambition or striving. It came from surrender. That's why this moment is so powerful. Because when God brings the promotion, it carries His fragrance, His peace, and His authority. This is that moment. You will walk differently now. Not arrogantly, but confidently. There's a knowing in your steps that cannot be shaken. Because you've seen too much. You've survived too much. You've lost, cried, fasted, and endured. And you came out of it carrying glory. You came out of it with a posture that says, I belong here, not because of ego, but because you paid the price in full. And now, your name is being spoken in rooms you've never entered. Your spirit is being felt in dimensions you haven't even touched. The heavens have made an announcement on your behalf. That's why everything feels charged. That's why the air around you seems different. You're not crazy. You're calibrated.